Hello and welcome to Tech Britain TV. My name's Imran Azam, and as you can see, we're still here in Derry, and I'm here with one of Ireland's famous sons. I think we can refer to you as Aaron. This is Aaron Taylor, who is the CEO of GoPrezzo, which is based in Belfast and also has offices in New York.
Yep.
Is that right? So, Aaron, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks
right.
for having me.
No, not a problem at all. So you're going to be speaking at CultureTECH tomorrow. Do you know what you're going to be speaking about, or you kind of go shoots from the hip?
There's a few things I'm talking on. The first one is going to be talking around the future of gaming. So it's looking at different trends, analysing where the market's heading, and trying to give some feedback and insight into that for people who are working in the games community who really want to see what they should be looking at. So it's really trying to give some insight from my background working in the games community, obviously. The second one I'm doing is a lot more fun. It's a panel session with a few other guys, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Okay, so your organisation GoPrezzo develops games.
Yeah, well, we don't develop games themselves.
So sorry, you don't develop games. So what is it that GoPrezzo does?
We play darts every day. That's pretty much it.
Oh, thanks for your honesty.
No,
your investors would be proud.
It's so proud. No, we're a tournament platform. So basically, we allow gamers playing their favourite games to post their scores from those games in the leaderboard to win prizes. So we work with the likes of Paul Frank, Birchbox, Theatre Mania, a lot of big US brands and advertising agencies. Pretty much it's a case of if you're playing your favourite game, you basically get a high score in that and you post that score to our platform, and what we do at that stage is we then normalise the scores. So the really interesting thing we do, we can take scores from different games and we can normalise them and then allow different people playing different games to compete for the same prize, which is something nobody else is doing, so it's a really unique thing.
Not normalise, what do you mean?
So we basically, say for example you were playing Angry Birds, we can take the score of that and normalise it against, say, myself playing Bejeweled, and basically your score will be normalised and set against my score, so you get like a certain score based on your performance, and I get a certain score based on my performance, and both those scores then tally up to go into the same leaderboard. So we aggregate data and aggregate scores from multiple games into one central leaderboard.
Wow, and how did you come up with this concept?
I think I've been working in the games industry for a while, doing various different things. I think we just spotted a gap in the market, really. It was a case of just people playing games. You get sort of sick and tired of playing against people you didn't know, sick and tired of just having to play within one game whenever your friends are playing different games. I think just having that ability to compete against your friends, even if they're playing different games, is just something that was really cool. I think as well it was a case of whenever you're playing games, you don't get anything for it. Whereas what we've done, we've now switched it around that whenever you're playing, you can actually win stuff. So instead of just playing for fun, you're now actually competing to win prizes. So we've given away things like iPads, tickets to see Pink in concert, loads of really, really cool stuff that you basically can go and win for free.
Okay, so GoPrezzo is headquartered in Belfast?
Yeah, so our development team is in Belfast. We then have a front-end biz dev team in New York, and we're also like a satellite office in Rocket Space in San Francisco. So we're part of the Rocket Space Accelerator there, which has been really, really good for us. Obviously, it's invite only; it's pretty hard to get into, so it was nice to get onto that.
Ah, you're a real VIP.
Well, people seem to like what we do, so we can't complain. But you work hard for it.
Yes, sure you do. Okay, so you've had a pretty eclectic background, according to my notes here, and you once tried to establish a static bungee jump in Ireland. Okay, so I think we can say it's fair to say you haven't had a linear career.
No, it's been pretty varied. I think I started off picking apples, which was quite interesting.
Scrumping.
It lasted for I think a total of 5 minutes. First bucket of apples I got, I threw them from the top of the ladder into the crate, and I was told, right, don't come back. So apparently it ruins all the apples.
They might get a bit bruised.
Yeah, so that was the end of that. But yeah, I think I've spray painted forklifts while at university. I've worked in retail. As a kid, used to run around with my lawnmower over my back, cutting lawns to try and get some cash. Pretty much anything that involved getting some money. So,
have there been any? You see, when I read the autobiography of a famous entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Actually, anybody who reads an autobiography, what makes a story great is the fact that there was a great deal of struggle, right? And at some point, that struggle turned into success. Have there been any kind of moments what other people concern as failure for you during your career?
Yeah, I think everybody always has issues. I grew up in, obviously as a family we weren't rich, we weren't poor. I got pocket money the same as everyone else, but it certainly wasn't what other people were getting. So you went out and you did your own stuff to try and sort of get yourself more money. In terms of businesses, I've had businesses that have failed, been horrible failures, which absolutely just decimate any will to live. But at the same time, you just pick yourself up and you go again. Failure's part of it. You have to be able to look it in the eye and know that it can happen, and chances are it will happen. But at the same time, you can't fear it. You just have to deal with it and move on. And I think the most important thing is just learning from what you do. And as long as you can look yourself in the eye and know that you've worked as hard as you can, you've tried as hard as you can, and you've learned something really sort of profound from that, I think that's the most important thing.
Is that something you've learned along the way, or is that kind of a cultural environment within which you've grown up in? The reason I ask that is because there's always this big deal made of the fact that in the States, failing is a badge of honor. You know, the fact that you've tried is the main thing, and that the fact you failed means you're learning something, whereas perhaps in the UK, or maybe in the mainland, you've got people who just basically look down at people who are trying to be entrepreneurial and people who do fail.
I think that's valid. I think in Northern Ireland especially, it's quite conservative. So failure is seen as something, well, don't touch this guy again because he's failed. But I think I'm quite lucky that my dad was a minister, so I moved around a lot. So I was always making new friends. I've always been quite self-sufficient. I've never really needed anybody else to tell me that I'm good or that I'm bad or whatever. I've always believed in myself, and I've always sort of had enough faith in myself not to worry about other people's opinions. So from that regard, the only person you're really letting down is yourself. So if you know that you've tried as hard as you can, you've given it everything, then I don't really care what other people think, because it's completely inconsequential to me. It's really what I think and what my family thinks, and at the end of the day, as long as you can make the people around you that matter proud, that's all that really matters. After that, you just block out the noise, because that's all it really is. If people have nothing constructive to say, then it is just pure noise, and it serves no purpose.
Tech Britain TV going right to the heart of the entrepreneur here. It's getting a little bit emotional.
Yeah,
I'm just welling up right now. So GoPrezzo, number of staff, turnover, any of the sexy figures you'd like to give us?
The nature of our business, we're not revenue generating. We probably won't be until mid next year. The big thing for us is driving reach. So it's all about scaling user base as high as we can, and that's it, and switching on revenue. We work on an advertising model. So the nature of advertising basically is that you need a certain element of scale before it becomes attractive to brands to get involved. So from our perspective, I think we've focused very much on the Haze app model. The company works in the game space where they solely focused on executing as hard as they could on reach. Once they had that reach, then it gave them the flexibility to really work on creating a dynamic revenue model. I think that's something, we know a revenue model, we know how it works, we know the format of it. I think the most important thing for us is just not to get sidetracked and fully focus on reach.
Have you found any problems with getting the right people into the organisation?
I think that's always a problem for any organisation. I think in Northern Ireland at the minute there's a real lack of well, not a lack of tech talent. There's a lot of tech talent there, but I think there's a lack of sort of attitudes and ambition to want to get involved in startup. I think for a lot of people, it's let's just get a job that we're happy in. It's got security, and with the nature of the economy, you can't really blame people for that. And at the end of the day, as a startup, you don't really want people in who are always freaking out about not getting paid or whatever. So I think there's certainly a mindset and a challenge of mindset that we have in Northern Ireland that you really need to work on. And the US is a different problem in that it's just so competitive and so aggressive right now to get talent, be that front end or be that tech talent. So I think attracting and retaining talent is definitely an issue for all startups.
No, absolutely. Okay, last thing I have down on here is that you're a keen politician, or you studied politics, and that you play football.
Yeah.
Now they do say three things you don't discuss: religion, politics, and football.
Yeah.
Doesn't say. You've already mentioned religion with the minister thing, right? Briefly, what's the interest in politics?
I think as a kid growing up, I've just always been interested in politics. I think
Ireland's not really known for its politics, is it?
no, it's quite a sort of low touch political scene here. Wouldn't really be that well known for politics. But better known for building like ships that fail.
And the football?
Yeah, I think just as a kid I played football, and then I was big, so I was told I had to play rugby, and that was the end of the football career.
So you don't play football anymore?
I just play with my friends, messing about. I don't think there's anybody who would really want me to play football.
Okay, can I ask who your team is?
Yes, we're Man United.
I just kind of knew that. I don't know, I sensed them.
I really wanted to say Shrewsbury Town because that's one thing nobody would ever expect.
Shrewsbury Times. So, Aaron, listen, thanks very much
Thank you.
for joining us. So here you have Aaron Taylor, one of the go-getters, one of the shining lights, one of the beacons, one of Ireland's favourite sons, future politician and leader, joining us here at the aptly named legendary Cafe of Legends, and myself as well. We've got the final interview of the day coming up shortly. Do come back and join us, and yeah, we'll be bringing you more good stuff. Thank you.